A boy, a fledgling youth that set out to become so much more. Let's take a deep dive into his heart and get to know the past, present, and future of Sora.
That's weird. It's like something's squeezing me inside.
A brave young boy with a name that translates to sky in its original Japanese language. As a newborn, on his birthday, Sora's heart felt a presence, a dying presence. On the Destiny Islands, where Sora was being birthed, Ventus was left behind for dead. Sora's heart felt this and made contact with Ventus's heart. They connected with each other and Sora helped Ventus restore his dying heart and became whole again. While growing up, Sora had a best friend named Riku. The two of them were always racing each other on the islands, battling with wooden swords or competing in any way imaginable. At the age of 4, while Sora was playing on the islands with Riku, he encounters two Keyblade wielders, Terra and Aqua. Though he never speaks with Terra, since he only spoke with Riku, Sora did get to meet with Aqua. The female Keyblade wielder wanted to pass down the power of her Keyblade onto Sora, but she could feel his best friend had already obtained the power through Terra. Not wanting to burden both of these youngsters, Aqua told Sora to stick with his best friend and protect him with his light. And so he agrees. Riku is his best friend after all. A little while later, Sora and Riku are sitting at the beach at night. Sora started to feel sad all of a sudden. Because he had a connection with Ventus since birth, Sora could feel whenever Ventus was in trouble. Not knowing what this feeling was, Riku encouraged Sora to call out to the soul with his heart, and so Sora did. Performing a deep dive to his own heart, Sora met with Ventus's heart, who thanked him for making his heart whole again 4 years ago. But now he needs to sleep again, and asks if he could stay with Sora. Sora agreed because this will make Ventus feel better, and invites him inside his heart. Not long after, a girl named Kairi from another world was introduced to the rival duo and became real close friends. On the Destiny Islands was a cave that they dubbed the Secret Place. They first found the cave when they thought a howling monster was hiding in there. Proving their courage to Kairi, both youngsters went in to investigate, only to find a door and an empty cave. Within this secret place is where they all would go draw pictures on the rocks. Right there is where Sora and Kairi carved their faces on the walls. Through the years, the three would go to the islands to play and think of other places that could exist. Kairi came from another world, so why couldn't they just leave and find them?
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
Several years have passed and Sora is at the age of 14. He and his friends, Riku and Kairi, have decided to build a raft and sail off to find other worlds. While working, Riku still taunted Sora to spar with him. He even upped the stakes to let the winner share Paopu fruit with Kairi. Sharing a Paopu fruit with someone is something very special. The person's destiny with whom the fruit is shared gets intertwined with yours. It's a form of creating a bond, but on a higher level. While finding rations for their trip, Sora went into the secret place and saw the drawing of him and Kairi. He decided to add a Paopu fruit to show he wants to share his destiny with Kairi, but his peace was disturbed by a hooded figure. An unknown entity appeared telling Sora great darkness was coming to Destiny Islands. Before Sora knew it, the hooded figure vanished, so he continued foraging mushrooms for his upcoming trip. That night, the island was hit with a heavy storm, and Sora was worried about the raft. When he went to check on it, he noticed Kairi and Riku's boats were there as well. Riku was standing on the far end of the island, surrounded by darkness. He invited Sora in, telling him it's the only way off the island, and that he's not afraid to embrace the darkness to do it. But Sora withstood this darkness, and in return was granted the power of the Keyblade. With Riku lost, Sora found Kairi in the secret place, but she was falling to darkness as well. The door Kairi was standing in front of suddenly burst open and destroyed the islands with its darkness. Kairi lost her heart this way, but found refuge within Sora. Sora was sent through a dark portal to a town called Traverse Town. This town is known to offer refuge to anyone who has lost their homeworld and did not perish with it. While looking for his friends, Sora met with Donald and Goofy. They explained to Sora that their king requested them to find the key and stick with it, meaning the Keyblade that Sora has on him. As Sora needs to find Riku and Kairi, he decides to join them on their journey to find the king. A little ways down the road, Riku was met in Traverse Town as well. Sora was glad his friend was okay, but during a discussion about whether Riku could join them, he vanished. Continuing their journey to find Kairi, they wound up on a ship. To their surprise, Riku was leading the Heartless on that ship. Sora didn't understand why Riku turned to the dark side, but he revealed he wanted to use the darkness to save Kairi. They departed to a place called Hollow Bastion. Sora faced another encounter with Riku where he tells Sora he should be the true master of the Keyblade. Sora was stripped from his powers there, but he didn't give up. It's not enforcing the Keyblade on you. Sora revealed that his strength comes from friendship. This power is recognized by the Keyblade and it returned to Sora. While trying to chase Riku, Sora met with Maleficent, the Dark Witch behind the scenes who was forcing the darkness onto Riku. Defeating her along the way, Sora managed to get to Riku, who was standing in front of a door. Riku revealed he was possessed by a man named Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. Ansem found Kairi, who was essentially a lifeless body. It was revealed to Sora that her heart rests within him, and in order for her to wake up, her heart needed to return. Kairi was a princess of heart, and one of the 7 necessary to open this door that would allow control over all worlds. So Sora decided to unlock his heart with a Keyblade and separate his and Kairi's heart from his body, to revive Kairi. This action, however, made Sora turn into a Heartless, falling into darkness. Though hope was not lost. Since Kairi was a princess of heart, she could lead Sora back to the realm of light by using that light to guide him. Brought back to the realm of light, Sora managed to make his way back to the door that was opened with the hearts of the 7 princesses. The efforts to close this door opened a way to the end of the world, where Sora had to face Ansem. While trapped in the realm in between, close to the realm of darkness, a door was found. This door was Kingdom Hearts, the door that separates the dark and light realm. But opening it destroyed Ansem as it was pure light. Sora needed to close this door once more so all worlds could be saved. But the strength of Donald, Goofy, and himself wasn't enough. They suddenly received help from Riku from the other side of the door. Riku was there with King Mickey, who told Sora to steal the door with his Keyblade the moment the door closes. Riku asked Sora to take care of Kairi before the door closed, and Mickey and Sora locked the door away. This action had led to the revival of the worlds lost to darkness, including Destiny Islands, where Kairi would return to. Sora promised her he'd find her and come back to her right before they got separated.
Proceed, Sora. To lose and claim anew, or to claim anew only to lose.
Sora, Donald, and Goofy were traveling through the realm in between. None had a clue where they were headed or where they were, until Sora saw a man in a black cloak. Following him led them to a castle. It was a weird looking castle as well. And when they entered, the man in the black robe told them it was a special castle. This castle would reveal forgotten memories while traversing the castle. With the words, "To find is to lose, and to lose is to find," Sora continued forward into the castle. He still had the quest to find Riku before attempting to go back to Kairi. While ascending the castle, Sora met with other people dressed in black cloaks, one of which introduced himself as Axel. He tested Sora in a fight, which resulted in them understanding they were forgetting abilities. But Sora didn't hesitate in ascending the castle further. Sora started to remember something after a couple of floors. There was a girl on the islands, playing games with him and Riku. Donald and Goofy asked if it was Kairi, but there was another girl. Sora felt ashamed he couldn't remember her name, so he raced up the stairs to try and remember her. Sora met with another black-robed character known as Larxene. These people were from a group called Organization 13. They needed Sora to remember what he has forgotten, so she pushes him into remembering. Suddenly Sora remembered the name, Namine. That's the girl from Destiny Islands. Riku, Sora and her would always play games together. On another floor, Sora met with Riku, but something was off. He wasn't his usual self. Apparently, Riku was also looking for Namine. Riku taunts Sora by telling him Namine doesn't want to see him, that he abandoned her long ago and forgot about her. But Sora shared his memory with Riku to show he hadn't forgot. He even shows a charm Namine made. At this point, Riku became angry and shows his charm that Namine made. They were identical and they even shared the exact same memories. The two start to fight because Riku should be the one saving Namine in his eyes, but to Sora it's the other way around. As they went on fighting, Namine arrived on the scene and stopped Riku by breaking the memories in his heart. At this point, Larxene returned and explained that Riku is a replica, a lifeless puppet without a heart. Namine, who is a witch with powers over Sora's heart, stripped Sora of his memories, created fake ones and put them in both Sora and Riku's hearts. That's why they had the same exact memories about Namine. Even though Sora was heartbroken, he managed to destroy Larxene. Namine asked for forgiveness for the harm she caused, and Sora, the ever-friendly person he is, forgave her on the spot. She was doing it under the organization's control after all. Sora had to push through and climb to the top of the castle in order to face the man in the black robe. He revealed himself as Marluxia, who was the leader of the organization's members here in the castle. They needed Sora for a special purpose, and let Naminé break him so he was easier to persuade. But Sora was stronger than they had anticipated, and Naminé did not control his memories anymore. Riku's replica also came to his senses and protected Naminé while Sora faces Marluxia. Even though it was a major struggle, Sora, Donald, and Goofy managed to defeat Marluxia. Naminé implored Sora to reach out into his heart and remember who it really was on the islands, who he actually spent time with. To reconnect the chain of his memories, Sora had to sleep in a memory pod. Right before he falls asleep, Naminé tells him to focus. And then it came back to him. The islands, the rivalry with Riku, and the thought of sharing a Paupu with Kairi.
A scattered dream that's like a far-off memory. A far-off memory that's like a scattered dream.
A year has passed since Sora went into the memory pod. He woke up with his memories intact from right before he went to Castle Oblivion. Everything in between, though, was forgotten. He reunited with Donald and Goofy and went out to see if they could find a way home. The town they were visiting was Twilight Town, and it felt so familiar to Sora, but he didn't know why. They meet with a group of friends called Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Sora also feels familiar to them, but hasn't met them before. At the train station of Twilight Town, they were ambushed by strange white creatures. Even though the Keyblade did the trick of disposing them, after his long sleep, Sora didn't have the strength to keep up with the ever-spawning creatures. Luckily, King Mickey arrives and slayed the remaining creatures. Without further information, Mickey offers Sora some money to board the train. While Mickey ran off, Sora was happy to have seen him, since that must mean Riku was safe as well. They went to board the train and Hayner, Pence, and Olette were there to see them off. When the train departed, Sora felt emotional and even cried a little bit. The train took them to the mysterious tower, the place where an old wizard lives, the master of King Mickey, Yensid. Sora receives an explanation on the heartless nobodies here and the existence of an organization that leads these nobodies. He also receives new clothes that grant him extraordinary abilities throughout his next adventure. His next stop would be Hollow Bastion. Upon arrival, Sora meets part of the organization. Hollow Bastion is being overrun by heartless and nobodies alike, and the high towers of Hollow Bastion is a study that belonged to Ansem. They met with King Mickey again when they found a painting of Ansem. King Mickey explains that this isn't Ansem, but an apprentice called Xehanort. The real Ansem was called Ansem the Wise and vanished a couple of years ago. A rumble outside made them aware of an invasion taking place. A horde of Heartless was making their way to Hollow Bastion. Sora made his way toward the battlefield but had to fight an organization member called Demyx. Sora managed to defeat him and could make his way onward to the battlefield. On top of a mountain, the leader of the organization revealed himself to be Xemnas. At that point, Mickey revealed that Ansem's apprentice, Xehanort, had created a Heartless that went by the name of Ansem. While doing so, Xehanort's nobody took on the name Xemnas and led the organization. The Heartless began their attack, and Sora managed to stand his ground and take care of every single one of them. While doing so, Saïx showed up on the scene and informed Sora that he's doing a good job. Organization 13's goal is to extract hearts from the Heartless using the Keyblade and send these hearts to Kingdom Hearts. Nobodies aren't meant to exist since they don't have hearts, but when Kingdom Hearts is complete, they can truly finally exist, as they will receive a heart of their own. Sora was broken at this point, as he needed to beat the Heartless but did not want to help Organization 13 in the process. Maleficent appeared at the scene, stating that the Heartless are meant to be controlled by her. She is the one that needs to dominate. So Maleficent and Sora share the same enemy, and Maleficent helps Sora escape. Sora was sent to the Dark Realm for a brief moment, but found his way back due to Riku showing him the way. Sora, Donald, and Goofy returned to find Riku and Kairi in order to stop Organization 13's plans. Along the way, they meet Xaldin. He was a tough guy to beat, but Sora managed it with the strength of his friends and Mickey. They managed to find a clue that leads them to Twilight Town. Hayner, Pence, and Olette welcomed Sora back and informed them they found a computer with some odd data. This PC had a digital Twilight Town. In that digital town was a passageway that would lead to the organization's hideout, so Sora set out to go there. The portal would lead them to the realm in between, where they were ambushed by nobodies. There were so many that Sora got exhausted, but luckily Axel came to his aid. Deploying his ultimate attack, Axel sacrificed himself in order to save Sora. Apparently, Axel was Roxas' best friend, and he wanted to see him again. Sora made Axel feel the same way. At this point, Sora doesn't know Roxas, but since Axel saved him, he owed him thanks and set onward to find his friends. Sora, Donald, and Goofy found their way into the world that never was, the home world of the organization. While traversing the town in order to get to the castle, Sora was attacked by a hooded man. Falling into the depths of his heart, Sora had to fight this unknown person, who set up one hell of a fight. But Sora was victorious and the hooded figure dropped his facade. Before fading, he said Sora made a good other. At this point, Sora returns to his senses and could continue on to the castle. Upon climbing this fortress, Sora managed to reunite with Kairi, Riku, and King Mickey, who also reunited with Ansem the Wise in the meantime. Apparently the organization had kidnapped Kairi, and Riku was trying to save her. So right now, everyone was back together again. Ansem the Wise had devised a plan to digitize the almost fully created Kingdom Hearts, but the machine malfunctioned and self-destructed. Kingdom Hearts broke due to this and thwarted the organization's plans completely. Xigbar, Luxord, and Saïx, all three members of the organization, confronted Sora, calling him Roxas as they did. Confused as Sora was by this, he was still able to beat them all. The only one left was Xemnas, who was mourning the loss of his Kingdom Hearts. He had to start all over. He summons a door where his final battle with Sora will occur. This gives Mickey and Kairi the perfect opportunity to get to safety, but a voice came from Kairi stating they would meet again. A blonde girl came from Kairi, and a boy came from Sora. Naminé and Roxas reunited here as well. Sora became aware that when he became a heartless and hollow Bastion, he too had created a nobody, two even. One called Roxas and one called Naminé, which came from Kairi's heart at the time. After this reunion, Sora and Riku go through the door to face Xemnas and defeat him. In an epic standoff that required the both of them to work together, they eliminated Xemnas from existence. Since Sora and Riku had entered the door to face Xemnas, they got stranded in the Dark Realm and found their way to a beach that would coincidentally be connected to the beach at Destiny Islands. The light of Kairi reached out towards Sora and they were able to return home. And although they thought their adventures were done, Mickey wrote a letter, summoning Sora to see him. Mickey told Sora more Keyblade wielders were in need to be saved, so Sora and Riku went to see Yen Sid.
What are you saying? That he knew everything that would happen?
Upon arrival at Yen Sid's tower, Sora and Riku receive an explanation on the Keyblade wielders that need help. In order to help them, both Sora and Riku need to obtain the power of waking. This power can be achieved by completing the Mark of Mastery exam that Yen Sid has prepared for them. Their goal is to visit sleeping worlds, worlds that have been once taken by the darkness but not yet fully recovered when they had to return to the realm of light when Sora saved them from darkness. So Sora made his dive to Heart and locked the 6 keyholes of the sleeping worlds that would complete the Mark of Mastery exam. But he finds himself in a sleeping world that never was. Confused by this, Xigbar shows up and explains that this exam has been hijacked from the very beginning, that from the very first steps in the exam, he and the organization had been guiding him this way. He explained their master would return since Ansem and Xemnas were annihilated, that this path was set up from long before Sora even existed. A young man with silver hair approached Sora, who revealed himself to be Xehanort from the most distant past. He revealed to Sora that when he was apprenticed to Ansem the Wise, he experimented with darkness and shed his heart from his body in order to travel to the past. That way, young Xehanort could gather vessels to store Xehanort's heart into. Their goal was to create 13 Xehanorts in order to fight 7 lights and ultimately reforge the X-Blade and summon Kingdom Hearts. The last piece of the puzzle was Sora. He is supposed to be the 13th vessel and gets subdued by Xehanort into a deep slumber. In this slumber, Sora again meets Xigbar, but also Xemnas. Xemnas tells him that nobodies actually can grow their hearts back over time, and by doing so, they were able to get back to the present time. Xigbar also reveals he already has a piece of Xehanort inside of him, making him one of the 13. With Sora fighting back, he became very weak and fell into darkness. However, a piece inside of him, a piece which Sora helped so many years ago, could return the favor. Ventus summoned his armor to envelop Sora and protect him from the dark until he gets rescued. Not knowing how much time has passed, Sora wakes up in Yen Sid's tower. Riku, Donald, Goofy and Mickey were all there, waiting for his recovery. Yen Sid informs Sora about Master Xehanort's plans and what happened when Sora fell to darkness. Riku had plunged deep into Sora's heart to save him and brought him back safely, and by doing so, Yen Sid makes Riku a Keyblade Master. Sora didn't receive the mark since he got subdued by the darkness. He also lost most, if not all, of his abilities. To recover his strength and to receive the power of waking, he must visit someone who went through the same hardship. Someone who went from a zero to a hero. A hero named Hercules.
They can take your world. They can take your heart. Cut you loose from all you know. But if it's your fate, then every step forward will always be a step closer to home.
Arriving in Olympus, Sora met with Hercules in order to ask him how he himself reobtained his godlike strength when he was in a pickle. Hercules explained that it was the power of his heart that did the trick. So Sora didn't get his strength back that he lost during the exam, but he did acquire a new goal, exploring the strength of his own heart to reobtain the power of waking. Sora went back to Yen Sid to explain what has happened and met with Riku and Mickey there. It's explained that Aqua is trapped in the Dark Realm and she needs to be rescued. But without his powers, nor the power of waking, Sora is not allowed to help by Yen Sid. Traveling further with a gummy ship, Sora receives word from Ienzo, a former organization member who turned human again and is researching Ansem the Wise's data. He tells Sora that in Ansem's data, it's explained that Sora has 3 other hearts inside of him. Sora knows one of them is Roxas, but he is unsure about the other 2. So he decides to set a goal of reviving Roxas. By traveling to different worlds, Sora did not reacquire his lost power of waking, but felt that he was needed in the Dark Realm. Proceeding to the Dark Realm, he arrived in the nick of time because Riku and Mickey were pinned down by an anti-Aqua. Teaming up with Riku, they vanished the darkness from Aqua's heart and helped her get back into the Realm of Light. When she recovered, Sora went with her on her own quest since she had promised an old friend of hers to pick him up when she was able to. Arriving at the doors to Castle Oblivion, Sora did not have a clue what this castle was, but with a trick up Aqua's sleeve, this castle magically transformed into the world she grew up on, the Land of Departure, with Ventus sleeping on the throne she left him on. But quickly, they were interrupted by Vanitas, who also wanted Ventus to be revived since both of them held the key to unlocking the X-Blade. While Aqua and Vanitas locked their Keyblades into battle, Sora dove into his heart since he felt a feeling he hadn't felt since he was 4 years old. He heard the voice again which asked him to sleep inside of his heart. Ventus said that Sora never lost the power of waking, that it slept inside of his heart and it needs to awaken. Sora understood and used the power to wake Ventus from his slumber. This forced Vanitas to retreat and gave the heroes a chance to regroup at Yen Sid's. Sora, accompanied by his fellow Keyblade wielders, had only hours to spare before they had to face the destined battle. So they returned to Destiny Islands for a moment of peace. It was there where he sat with Kairi and shared a Paubu fruit with her, with the promise to keep each other safe. Sora, Donald and Goofy, along with the other 6 Guardians of Light, arrived at the Keyblade graveyard where Master Xehanort welcomed them with his other 12 incarnates. Summoning a horde of Heartless, Nobodies and Unversed onto them, Sora and his friends had to vanquish them all. Succeeding in this task would reveal Terra standing on the battlefield, but still under Xehanort's control. He massively injured everyone in his path to kill Sora when he was stopped by Donald, who sacrificed his entire stamina into an attack that would destroy Terranort. When Sora looked on the battlefield and saw his injured friends, he lost his faith. A huge tornado of Heartless was created and sucked up every last one of the heroes, except for Riku and Sora. While Riku held off the tornado of darkness, he told Sora that Sora was still strong and shouldn't give up. Riku got swallowed by the darkness, and then it overtook Sora as well. Waking up in a strange place called the Final World, Sora had to piece himself back together in order to return. He met with a star, which revealed herself to be Naminé. She told Sora that upon returning, they would receive a second chance, and Naminé would send help this time around. Sora uses the power of waking again to revive his friends and send them all back minutes before the clash with Terra. But by doing so, Sora put a strain on his heart that would require a heavy toll. The Lingering Will, which is Terra's willpower, encased in a suit of armor, battled with Terra, which paved the way for the heroes to defeat most of the organization members. A couple of the organization members even redeemed themselves and held out a helping hand to Sora for future endeavors. Only Ansem, Xemnas, young Xehanort, and Master Xehanort remained. In a heavy clash with the first 3, Master Xehanort was able to acquire 13 of his no-name Keyblades. These Keyblades were created by the darkness leaving the organization's members' hearts when they clashed with the Guardian of Light. But to summon the X-Blade, Master Xehanort himself had to clash with the Guardian. By striking down Kairi, the girl whom Sora shared a Paupu with, Master Xehanort motivated Sora to strike him, making him summon the X-Blade and summon Kingdom Hearts. Master Xehanort almost succeeded in his plan to reset the universe when Mickey revealed Master Xehanort holds a portal of time. By using this portal, Sora, Donald, and Goofy were able to travel into the past with Master Xehanort to Scala at Kylum, a seat of power for Keyblade wielders. In this very spot, Sora was able to overpower Master Xehanort, and after this battle, the other Guardians rejoined with Sora. This reunion sparked Ericus' spirit to speak with Master Xehanort and show him he was doing wrong. Master Xehanort gave the X-Blade to Sora so he could close Kingdom Hearts and Scala at Kylum and return to their own time. While everyone was back, Sora wanted to save Kairi. He needed to reawaken her, and Mickey warned Sora that using the power of waking again could have dire consequences. But Sora went on his trip and needed to do this alone. It was his journey, his quest. While the other Guardians, Mickey, Donald and Goofy, even Namine and Xion, were playing together on Destiny Islands, they saw Kairi sitting on the tree where she shared a papu with Sora. She was briefly joined with Sora, meaning he was indeed able to save her and return her to the islands. But all of this required a toll that would be a burden to Sora's friends, but more heavily on Kairi. Sora and Kairi shared one last touch, keeping their oath, before Sora fades away into oblivion.